Be sure to let me know where you're watching from. Parker, what's going on, man? All is well, man. All is well. Clean my little guitar part up. Ranzis, what's going on? All right. Let's try that. Almost doesn't count. I can do it better. I think I got a better one in me. Okay, so I like the downstroke. That sounds better. Not clean. All right. Everybody good this morning? Brazil is in the house. Bruno, what's up, man? Chef Neil, what's going on, man? Bernard. Yes, sir. All right, let's see here. Putting together another backing track. So I'm going to play around with it a little while. I have no idea where it's going. I'm just kind of letting it go where it goes. This is a little thought I had this morning, so it'll probably be available later this week. Plucking pattern right there. I'll add that. Let's see here. Let me do it again. I think I got a cleaner one in me. So if you guys are listening, you're grooving along with your bass, this starts out in the key of like F sharp minor. And then the other part of it, the B section of it goes to like A major. The whole song is in A major. It just starts on that other section that's grooving in that on the 6th. But the whole song is in A. Yeah. So if you want to groove with that, it's grooving on the 6th. I don't know what I'm gonna do with the bass line yet. And then the next section goes like on 5, 6, 2, 2, 3, 4, 2, 5, 6, 2, 2, 3, 4, 2, 5, 6, 2, 2, 3, 4, 2, 5, 6, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. Back to the 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's the whole bass line. I'm just kind of figuring out some, just layering these parts and seeing what feels good over the groove. So if you want to jam along while I'm putting it together, by all means. If you're in your car, of course, you can jam along. Andre, what's up, man? You're back this week, so that's the good thing. You're back this week. Glad you're tuning in with us this week. So let me see what I have for the second part. Satisfied with that yet. I'm still playing with ideas. Let's see again. I'll try that. It's a little soulful, but I'm good with that. I'm okay with soulful. Catch that chord. Y'all feeling this? Is it cool? I need to trash it, keep it. Give me some feedback. Just a little rhythm stuff happening. I'm hearing another little line under that, like for the guitar and the bass to kind of trace each other. So almost, I'm trying to I don't know. I'll keep playing around. I'll play around with the idea later. But let me put some bass on it. feel this is more like old school gospel, 90s type, the 90s era, a gospel feel. If any of you guys are like really familiar with gospel, keep it, love the rhythm, real smooth. 80s, yeah, 80s, 90s groove, depending on who you're listening to. But I was going for the like old school gospel vibe when I was hearing it. I don't know, just something different. And slight Shaka Khan as well, but that still kind of fits in that 80s, 90s era, you know. Looked at a while. I was hearing something there. Let's play around with that a little while. I'm kind of digging that. Get that pattern better. octave up. Just having fun. And if I don't like it, we can always go back and delete it. Take some of that high end out, a little of that high end out. Alright, I'm digging it. Alright, let's go back. And that sets us right up to go into that 5 for the next section. Let me listen to it in context. That bass line added a little bit more aggression to me. What's up, Floppy? Good afternoon, sir. Sounding nice as always. Appreciate that. Just straight nasty, bro. Got me jamming down the road. Yeah, man. Juan Martin says, epic, man. Keep going. Gotta go. Gotta have this groove. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, who is that? Lloyd. Hey, Jermaine, one question, please. What is the brand of the strings that you're using? I'm using SIT strings. Yep, literally just changed these strings this morning. Many of you guys know, if you've been here for longer than just today, this is, had this bass tuned. I had it strung up with my E string on top, but I changed my strings back to standard tuning, standard 5-string tuning. So yeah, it's Philippines, I see you in the building. Glenn, hope all is well with you. But yeah, it's using SIT strings. Stay in tune. These are the strings that I use. Power wound nickel. I use custom gauges. But yep, those are the strings I use. SIT. Good morning from Mobile, Alabama. What's up, Melvin? Bass sharing. Paris is in the building. Russia is in the building. We got the world watching this morning. Greetings to you guys, whatever time it is, wherever you are. This is Grooves and Motivation Live. I'm Jermaine Morgan. If this is your first time ever coming into this session, some of you guys came in new and it's like, this dude is playing the guitar. Wait a minute, this is a bass channel. I play multiple instruments and I have fun on all of them, so just get used to it. But we're just kind of putting this groove together. This is probably going to be one of the backing tracks if I don't end up liking it too much and put it on the record. But yeah. Let's see here. Germany is in the building. What's up, Hank? Loic, okay, thanks. I appreciate that a lot, man. Feelings and everything. Yeah, I'm really digging the sound. It's cool to switch it up every now and again because coming back and having that low B string back on top is refreshing because I've been playing with the low E on top with the high C string on the bottom. My bass is tuned a little different. But yeah, it's refreshing to have that low B back. So getting away from it and going back to it. And excuse me, anytime you put a new set of strings on your bass, it just does something else. It just, y'all notice I'm doing more thumping than I normally do. So it just kind of makes it, you want to hear the crispy, I call it the Krispy Kreme donuts. You hear the crisp in there. Yeah, so it's a lot of crispiness going on this morning. So yeah. So hopefully that's decent for everybody. Krispy Kreme. Yep, absolutely. I'm going all the way back up. All right, so Evolution, I see you this morning. He said, "Oh yes." What's the name of the song? I'm still coming up with it. It'll be a backing track that'll probably be available this week. The way I'm having fun with it, I don't know. It might not be available this week. It might end up going on the record somewhere. I don't know. But I started it with the intentions of it being a backing track. I don't know the name of it just yet. However, it will be copyrighted, so don't try to steal it. But no, yeah, it's just having fun, as the title declares. Somebody said my head can't stop moving. Steven, you have to do something with this groove. A new recording maybe. It just sounds so good. Thank y'all, man. I really appreciate the feedback. Like I said, I started this thing off. If you came in early to the live, it wasn't that funky when I first started. It was just gonna be a really nice, groovy gospel track, and then all of a sudden it got real funky. So I'm like, oh, wait a minute. So Chef Neil says, for newbies, how do we find this groove? By listening to what's going on. I mean, if you're talking about finding the track, it's not available yet. But if you're talking about just figuring out this groove, listening to all the elements that's happening. Granted, I got the advantage of playing multiple instruments and actually putting this track together, so I can kind of just create as I go. But I started out with a keyboard part, literally. I started this groove out. Actually, I wrote it backwards. I wrote the B part first, and then I went back and wrote the A part. So this was the part I wrote first. Random. That's what I heard first. Then I said it needs to have an A section to it that gets it to that part. And so I went back and wrote this. And then I just started adding elements to it from there, trying to find loops and drums. And when you guys tuned in, I was recording the guitar parts. And yeah, so the guitar was doing something like a... For me, it's like listening. Neil, that's the thing for me. I feel like listening is key because I didn't plan anything out when I was creating. I literally created this within the hour, and I didn't plan out anything when I was creating it. I was simply listening to what was there in terms of what I had going on and seeing. One of the things I've kind of gotten into, and I encourage you guys, music creators, to do it as well. I started out creating music this way, and I got away from it because of industry. I started trying to create stuff that was accepted in the industry and what everybody else was doing, so I could get placements and get songs placed with different artists. I got away from the initial way that I created music, and that took the fun out of it for me. And so lately, I think when I released the album Dreams Work Reality, that phase I was getting back into the initial way that I originally created music. So that was about 3-4 years ago. I literally started getting back into my original intent of how I create music. And some of you guys might have never noticed it, but like even with some of my earlier albums, I don't feel like I created them from the standpoint of how I now create music, meaning letting the song go where it wants to go. I feel like my introduction to putting out my first record, The Journey Continues, I was kind of in that direction of where I was letting the song kind of go, but it was still I still kind of had the reins a little bit because I was trying to make sure I had something that people could understand, people could do this, people almost letting what I thought people wanted dictate what I was creating instead of just allowing my ingenuity, my creative brain to just run free, no matter how simplistic or how complicated that might be. Just allowing my brain the freedom and my hands the freedom to go wherever they want to go. It's kind of like this song started out with a simple bass line, and then I started hearing, you guys heard me like midway through, I was hearing this thing right here. Now, at first, that wasn't even in the plan at all. Like, I was playing a simple bass line. I didn't have nothing close to that in my mind at all when I was putting this together. But as I heard it, you guys, you can go back and rewind. It's like, I was like, wait a minute, I'm hearing something. And so I just went with it. And you see how that just quickly went into a whole nother mode, and that made the groove feel different in terms of what I was feeling against that groove. Because initially, that groove didn't sound that good to me at first. And then once I started playing that other bass line, it took the whole song in a different mode. So being open to create music as you're hearing it in your head and not getting in your own way, not getting in the way of your own creativity. It's like your mind is so infinite, it can come up with stuff just off the cuff. Even as a beginner player, believe it or not, there are people who have picked up instruments and written songs on instruments that they don't play. And it's like some funky stuff. And it's like real cool, but it's not their main instrument. But they're not restricted. One of the things that happens when you start learning an instrument is you become restricted to the rules of what it takes to play that instrument. Where you can take somebody else who will come in here like a kid, like my kids come in here, and they'll just bang on the drums. To me, it doesn't make sense, because I'm advanced in music and I understand all this stuff, and I understand groove, and I understand placement, and I understand so much stuff. I know a lot of rules. So when they come in here, to me, it's making noise, and you're making a lot of racket. So sometimes I have to catch myself where I was like really hard on my kids. But all my kids are slightly musically inclined. My oldest daughter that's 8, she shows more signs of just raw talent than any of my other 2 kids. She has perfect pitch. If you've been here a while, you've heard me tell this before. She has where she can hear and see music in colors and all that kind of stuff. Synesthesia, I think is what we call it. But anywho, just that whole thing. So I had to catch myself. I was being really hard on them when they first started having an interest in music. Even my son, he's now 6, but when he was showing interest in music at like 2 and 3, I would be trying to get him to play a beat. No, play this and play that. And I know there's some direction that's there, but I found even with my daughter now, she took a better interest in playing the keyboards when I backed off. With me and all my musical knowledge and everything I know, when I started backing off and just listening to what she was creating. Now, if they have no musical skills whatsoever, it might, some intervention might be required. And it depends on what you're trying to do with your kids. If you're trying to Joe Jackson your kids and make them into the next Michael and all that, of course, you might need to intervene and kind of direct them. But me personally, I chose not to take that approach with my kids because I didn't learn that way. Nobody forced me to learn music. Nobody forced the rules down my throat. So it freed me. It took me a little longer in terms of my journey to get better. But I feel like because of the way I learned, it freed me to create music the way I do. And to be as open and be as creative and come up with stuff on the spot. I think the way I learned helped me to do that. And so I don't want to shove all of my newfound rules down my kids' throat so that they are these perfect musicians that know all the rules and know how to play all the chords, know how to name everything, but they have no fun doing it. And it's no interest to them. They're just good at it. I don't want that. I don't want to create that. That's not what I am, so I don't want to create that. So that's my perspective on how you hear that stuff. Like just being open to your own creativity, open to what you're hearing, even if it doesn't make sense. And beginners, please take note of this. Some of you guys, I understand why, because you want to know what it is you're doing, but sometimes you guys are killing your own creativity trying to figure out everything right away. You don't need to know it all right away. It's okay. Take it from a professional. I've been doing this a long time. And I did pretty decent. And I get it. You don't want to get on a gig. You don't want to get embarrassed. Half of the stuff you're worrying about, the reason why you're trying to learn all this stuff, like right now, half of the stuff you're worrying about is not going to happen. Not right away. Not in the early stages of your plan. Because there's a certain grace that most people give to you, understanding how long you've been doing what you're doing. You get a certain grace from a majority of musicians. You know what I'm saying? Now you walk into those scenarios where they're expecting you to know a little bit more than you know. But even in that, don't allow people's perception to pressure you into getting rid of your own creativity. Because ultimately that's what will happen. You will start experiencing writer's block, meaning you can't come up with any ideas, any original ideas, because you've been so busy trying to follow all the rules that you've murdered, assassinated your own creativity. You don't want to do that. That's why the title of this particular live is Remember to Have Fun. Remember to have fun, because, man, we've taken, I look at lessons and I look at the questions that people ask even on my lessons, and I'm like, man, y'all are taking the fun out of music. I mean, literally, if I can just be completely transparent, sometimes when I read some of the comments and some of the questions, it's like y'all are taking the fun out of music. I always use Victor Wooten's quote that says, "We play music. We don't work it. We're playing music. Like, we're playing it. We should be having fun." And most of you guys are not having fun because you're so busy trying to learn all of the rules and trying to keep up with everybody. And I know there's like, I want to be clear, because I know on one hand it's like, no, I'm just trying to figure out what to do because I don't hear all that stuff. But you will. The more it's a muscle. Your ear is a muscle as well. The more you exercise your ear, meaning listening to more stuff. And I already know what some of you guys are saying. I've been listening to music all my life. I've been here for 45 years. Yes, but have you been listening to music with the intention of going and trying it on your own? Or have you just been listening for pure enjoyment? There's a difference. Now, when you listen with the intention, like, enjoy the music, don't get me wrong, enjoy the music, but listen with the intention of, I'm gonna figure that out. I'm gonna figure out what they just did. Meaning, I'm gonna go back to my instrument and I'm gonna try to play. I'm gonna try to attempt what they just did. And sitting down and attempting it. Because if you make a habit of doing that little by little, you will, it's not a might, it's not a almost, you will pick up something. And if you make a habit of doing that and picking up something just for the fun of it, not to try to, I want to know what all they did. Because most times, again, what happens is you learn all the rules, and meanwhile, a lot of your creativity is going out of the window. Now, I'm not saying that to say you shouldn't learn any of the rules, because that is necessary at some point to know what you're doing so you can duplicate it and you can explain to someone what you're doing. But in order to be creative, it's not necessary that you know all the rules. Because if that's the case, I would have never written any songs. Case in point, I've been writing music since I was about 15 years old. And I definitely didn't know all the rules then, but I understood what it is I was doing in terms of hearing it. I understood it. I didn't know how I understood it. Matter of fact, I had I had a guitar instructor, took guitar lessons for a short stint of time, and it was nothing like super advanced. It was just literally just some fundamental stuff, trying to understand jazz guitar. And there would be sessions that I would come in there with my jazz guitar instructor, and I would play things, and he would ask me, "How did you know to play that?" I was like, "I don't know." Like, I just heard it. He would be teaching me stuff that I couldn't understand, but he's teaching me things that are like, this is theory, this is the rules, this is how this works in this particular thing, and I couldn't grab it. I was taking music theory, I couldn't grasp it. But on the other hand, I would create my own music, and some of the things he was trying to teach me, I was like above some of those things in terms of what I was hearing and what I was playing, because my creativity was not shut off. So I had some of the ideas before I understood what they were. And that, again, that happened as a result of being open and being creative. So if you're wanting to hear this stuff, I don't care how old you are, I don't care if you're just getting started and you're like 50 or whatever. Go back to that childlike creativity. Literally, go back to it. It doesn't matter when you're practicing how bad you sound. It's something that happens when you actually enjoy what you're doing. It's something that happens. Even if everybody else doesn't get it right away. You might be genius in your own right and you don't know it. Just think about it. You might be genius in your own right and you just don't know it yet. And it's just an underdeveloped form of genius. You haven't perfected it yet. You're still working on it, but it's your own form of genius. I can't tell you that because my ears are limited to what I have heard. You see what I'm saying? My ears are limited to the stuff that I've heard and the level of genius that I've been exposed to, but maybe you're not so bad. It's the level of genius you have has not been fully developed. Some of y'all are like, man, that dude is talking a whole bunch of hogwash. Believe what you believe. It seems like every few years, someone comes out with another level of genius that raises the bar. It's unorthodox. It's not what everybody else is doing. And it really challenges what's been the norm. And it's like sometimes it's simple and sometimes it's complicated. But what do we always say? Man, I never thought of that. I never thought of doing it that way. That's the point. When you start to develop your own creativity and your own ideas, it starts to create, like you trigger another way of thinking. When you ask questions like, what if I did this? Yeah, I know theory says this, but what if I put this over this chord? I don't quite know what it is, but what if I tried it? And the better you get, the more your ears tune. You tune your ears by listening and by growing on this instrument. I got beginner students that I've been teaching, and I notice from week to week, they're growing. From week to week, they're picking up on their own mistakes, things that I was in the first few weeks having to point out to them. Now they're right on it. They're correcting, and some of you guys are watching, you know I'm talking about you. They're correcting their mistakes as they go, and they're hearing some of the things that they're doing wrong, and they're making improvements. And I'm not having to say anything. That's simply because over time, you naturally, as a human being, you naturally improve. So the theory that I'm talking to you about in terms of not taking the fun out of what you're doing, over time, you're going to improve. Think about it. Case in point, when you have a kid, you teach a child how to ride a bike, all right? We start them off with the training wheels, get them going. They're riding. If they're riding consistently, maybe a few months' times, if they're riding consistently, they're ready to pull those training wheels off. They're going to fall a few times, but because they're having so much fun, they learn to adjust so they can quit falling. And then that natural part of their mind kicks in to tell them, oh, no, lean this way. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you're about to fall, lean over this way, hold it this way. And then before you know it, they're jumping over stuff, they're going around curves, running wide open, sliding the bike around, and doing all kind of stuff. And you didn't teach them all that stuff. All you taught them was how to stay straight up on the bike, and then when you pull them off the training wheels, you told them try to keep your balance. Try to keep your balance. And we don't have to keep coming back, forcing the rules down their throat, because in nature, they're going to learn the rules. It's just going to be a given. They're going to learn the rules. If I do this, I'm going to fall. If I do that, I'm going to fall. The more we become aware of what it is we're doing. But before they got on that bike, it just looked like somebody's speaking another language or somebody's doing something that was impossible, until you actually put it into play and started exercising those muscles that it takes to be able to do that well. It's all a muscle. It's all a muscle. You might not be as advanced as, some of these guys who are, on the biker games. I used to like playing this video game on PlayStation. I forgot what it was. But it was like this biker game where you can go and do the flips and all that kind of stuff. You might not be that advanced, but in your own right, you're sweet with it. I mean, it's some stuff you can do on the bike that everybody else can't do. You know what I'm saying? You might not be a pro athlete on the bike, but you might be sweet with what you do. So the same thing applies to when it comes to your music. Don't throw away your own creativity because it's not as sweet as what you think Jermaine or what you think somebody else will do. Oh man, that ain't Jacob Collier or somebody like that. That ain't as sweet as what they would do. So we all have our own version of sweet. And somebody likes what you have to offer. I'm saying that to somebody who's needing to record your own music. I'm talking to you. Some of you guys have been putting off recording your own music because you don't think it's good enough. And the longer you keep on with that mentality and that thought process that my stuff ain't ready for, people don't want to hear my stuff. You have what you say. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. You have exactly what you say. So if you think people don't want to hear what you have to say, or people don't want to hear what you have to offer, then they don't. They absolutely don't. But when you come to it with the mentality of, this is what I created, and this is what I want to share with the world. Somebody wants what you have to offer. It doesn't matter how bad you think it sounds, somebody's going to find it good. And guess what? When you put it out, just like riding that bike, you learn from your mistakes and you improve. Nobody wants to put out something that you're going to feel bad about. But without taking the first step and falling, how do you improve on walking? You can't. But musicians have been fed this idea that our presentation has to be spotless, and that's not true. You just have to be willing to put yourself out there and grow from your mistakes and have fun. Have fun along the journey. You learn what you learn, and a lot of times the more you can keep that at the forefront of everything, I'm having fun in this journey, I'm moving, I'm growing, the better you will become over time, because it will be a never-ending journey of learning. Now, whatever methods you have to take to get there, meaning if you have to take some private lessons to help you enhance what you know, even in those private lessons, one of the things I try to encourage my one-on-one students is have fun. Don't forget to have fun. I want you to work on this. I want you to work on, even in some of the techniques that I have people working on, I call my lessons coaching calls, because I'm not trying to tell you how this is how you should play your instrument only. No. I want to just kind of direct you and give you some other things you could possibly do to improve what you're already doing, because you might be coming up with something genius that I'm not aware of yet. So I dare not try to take you completely away from what you've already created. No. I just want to enhance that and help you to grow. He said, man, you're in my kitchen now. I want to enhance that and help you to grow in that area so that you can improve on what's unique to you. Not become a clone of anybody else, but improve on what's unique to you. All right, let me see some of these comments before I get way too far gone with this. Because I seen some good comments popping up and I don't want to miss them. All right, so somebody said, sorry, I ran out of decent emoji. All right, so I'm a bassist in our church, Philippines, and I learned from lots of your groups. Thanks, bro. Man, Glenn, man, thank you so much for even watching. I appreciate you. Evolution, which software are you using to record? I'm using Logic Pro. Good word, go with your unique ideas. Absolutely, Tiffany. Floppy says, great stuff. Well said, sir. Appreciate that. Good morning, Quest. Chef Nissa, that makes sense. No problem, man. And I'll see you later today. Hopefully you got my email. Andre Colson, your own style, absolutely. Prince said, that's true. Creative is what you get when you keep playing. Yep, creativity. I get what you're saying, creativity. Yep. So absolutely, y'all. That I just wanted to share that thought with you. I don't have to really drag this out. If any of you have any more thoughts or comments concerning what I've shared, what I've talked about so far, feel free to drop them in the comments. Now, I really appreciate all the likes that everybody has given. If you're new to my channel, I'm going live every Tuesday morning, unless something happens. Normally, I make an announcement about it. But if you're new to my channel, I'm normally live every Tuesday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, I appreciate you guys for jumping in. But anyway, I just wanted to just share those thoughts, man. Don't quit. Don't quit. If some of y'all are thinking about hanging it up because I can't play like this person, you might have to do this for a second. Get off social media. I'm telling you, you might have to just turn your phone off for a minute, or turn your notifications or something off for a second, because you can become discouraged hearing everybody else's progress and measuring yourself against what everybody else is doing. I've talked about this before. That can take the fun out of it for you, because if you always, and it's human nature, we all are guilty of it at some degree. You hear something that's simply amazing, and it's like, man, I'll never get there. Then you start doing that. You remember I talked about a few weeks or a few months ago, your self-talk. You start talking to yourself saying crazy stuff like, man, I'm never going to be that good. Okay, that's what you just said. Instead of saying, I'm gonna get there. I see you. I see you. And not that you're in a competitive thing at this or that person, but it's like it challenges you to a new level of certainty in terms of your plan. I'll be real transparent to you. I was already on like Victor Wooten and Marcus Miller and all of those cats. Like probably, when I got to Atlanta, I had been introduced to their music. Phenomenal. I mean, nothing negative to say about any of them. All of the goats, what I call them. And I don't even like using that term goat because it's like, it's too many to name. Let's just say all of the greats. That's just a better way of saying it. All of the greats. I was hip to them, John Patitucci, all of them. But I fooled around and heard somebody close to my age named Hadrian Ferrara. And if you hadn't heard of him, look him up. So Hadrian, spelled like Adrian with an H, and Farad is Feraud from France. Phenomenal bass player. And I heard him probably around 2007, 2008, somewhere in there. I think I got introduced to him from watching the NAM show. Thank you, Chef Neil. Appreciate that. I got introduced to him from watching like the NAM performance or something like that. And then I fooled around and bought his album and heard the stuff he was doing on his album. And at first, I ain't gonna lie, it discouraged me. It discouraged me, and I was like, "What have I been doing with my life?" When I was listening to it, because at that time when I was introduced to him, I was playing on a professional level, thinking that I done made it somewhere, not in an arrogant way, but just kind of thanking God for my accomplishments thus far. I kind of finally made it to the big stage, and now I hear this guy who is like just ripping a hole in the bass and looking like he's eating a bowl of cereal while he's doing it. Like, I'm like, goodness. So I'm listening to that. I was inspired and yet discouraged at the same time, if any of you know what I mean. So I was just listening to it. But what it did, I didn't let it get me down. I dealt with the fact that, I was quickly discouraged. But at the same time, it challenged me. And for me, that's always been a thing. I would feel that discouragement and acknowledge that there was some discouragement there, but yet I would challenge myself that I was going to be better. I think my mentality has grown. I'm not going to say it's always been that way, but it has grown into that over the years where I hear something, it challenges me. And not that I'm trying to come for Hadrian Ferrara, by no means, because there's only one. There's only one Vic. There's only one Marcus. It's like, I'm not trying to come for them guys. But what they did is introduce me to another level of possibility in myself. And so if you guys have heard anything in my plan this morning, I hope and pray that that's what it's done for you. Have introduced you to another level of possibility in yourself. Not that, because some of y'all can probably play circles around me. I don't know who's watching this. But you know what I'm saying? But it introduces you to another level. Even the fact that you see me play multiple instruments. It introduces you to another level of what's possible for yourself. Jacob Collier do the same thing for me when I hear his music. I was listening to his record in my room the other day, and it had my brain going. I was like, wow, I might not can do all of that he does, but it's like a portion of that, I can do that. And it just opened up possibilities. So it's not an intimidation factor, it's more of a inspiration. Like, I'm inspired when I hear it. So I challenge you today, as you're listening to stuff, if you're going to remain on social media, if you're going to keep passing these posts where you see these little 3-year-old kids that can play circles around you, don't get discouraged. Use that as fuel to become inspired for your own creativity, because if a 3-year-old and if an 8-year-old can do it, surely that's more than what's meeting the eye to me. It doesn't matter, and you got to take the excuses off the table. The excuses being, well, I didn't grow up in a musical family. Nobody in my family played music. I didn't grow up around music. I didn't grow up exposed to that type of music at an early age. We get it. I went through the same thing. So at the end of the day, that's not an excuse. I'm sorry, it's not. It's a legitimate excuse in terms of why it's taking you so long to get to a certain place, because you weren't exposed. That's cool. We'll let that slide. But as far as staying with that, you got to let it go. You got to stop telling people the sad story about what happened to you when you was little and all this stuff. We get it, but nobody cares. I hate to be blunt like that, but people don't care. I heard a quote that says, the people you're telling your problems, 80% of the people don't care, and the other 20% are glad it's happening to you. So I hate to tell you that, but most people do not care about why you're not where you want to be. People only care about results. They only care about results. The only time they feel bad for you is when it's something that's out of your control, like terminal or something, you're sick, and we all know you didn't do it, or you found yourself in a situation that you can't control. Oh, okay, now people have sympathy. But when it comes to something you can actually do something about, stop telling people about what all happened to put you in that situation. Take the reins yourself and do something about it. Pray about it. Seek direction on what's the best way that you should approach this situation or proceed through handling the situation. But ultimately, stop complaining about it. Because the more you complain about it, the more you reproduce the thing you don't want. I had to learn that the hard way. The more, and I might not seem like it because I'm always seeming to be happy-go-lucky on these lives, but I had a negative perception of a lot of stuff. And I had to start really working on my self-talk and the stuff. And that's why I'm so adamant about the stuff I say, about what you say, how you talk, because I personally have dealt with it for years. And so I had to start breaking those barriers that were holding me back in order to proceed to what I really, really wanted. So the more you walk around continuing to complain about what's going to happen, people are going to start leaving. When you start talking, oh, here he come. Here she come. We already know what we finna talk about today. It's like, we don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear nothing negative. So give me something uplifting. Give me some goals that you're setting. Give me what you've been working on this week. Give me some stuff that inspired you. Don't tell me about, man, look at these little kids. These little kids, 6 and 7 years old, play better than most grown people. That's nice. But are you inspired? No, dude, I heard this dude that was like 8 years old and he was killing. Man, I finna get on my stuff. I'm finna start practicing. That's a better way to approach that, a better way to think about it, because it should challenge you and motivate you, not discourage you and pull you away. You see what I'm saying? Anyway, that's enough of that. Hopefully you guys have gotten a lot out of this. Read through a few more of these comments. I might rock out just a little bit more as I wrap this thing up. Music for Jesus is in the building. Good morning. Truly sorry about that. So we'll go back. Your book is awesome. Thank you for everybody that's purchased the book. I seen a few comments about the book this morning. It's a great piece you're giving. Thank you, man. You're preaching now. Come on, bro. Chef Neil, your book is very good. Read, yes, sir. Spirit, okay. That's true. He said, I tried to run circles around. He said, LOL, if I tried to run circles around your good self, I would definitely trip and fall on my face. Man, I appreciate that. Respell his name. Hadrian Ferrara. Okay, if you guys are still there, hopefully everybody's still here. You've inspired me to grind. Again, I'm so late this morning. Andrew, it's all good. So Hadrian Ferrara, if you want to look up his music, it's Hadrien and Feraud is his last name. Hadrian Ferrara. Ferrara, however you want to pronounce it. I think it's Hadrian Ferrara. This is what I know. But yeah, if you want to listen to him, I warn you, it's a lot. when you hear it, when you pull up the record, I think it's, what's the name of the first record? I can't think of the name of the first record, but it's a red and white cover. He's like black and white. He's like really young on the video. I mean, not on the video, on the album cover, he's really young. It's like an old record. And then the other record he has is Born in the 80s. He's a lot more tamed on that one, but the first one that he put out, it was just like, man, we are cutting head this samurai on that mug. So I was like, good night. But yeah, so if you want to check out his music. Oh yeah, I do have music available as well. If you guys, again, if you're new to me, I have music available on iTunes. It's on my website as well. If you want hard copies, physical hard copies, you can go to my website today, JermaineMorgan.net. Go to the shop tab, and you can find all of my music there as well. I didn't make this announcement, but I have a new song dropping this Friday. A vocal called Broken Vessels. And I would appreciate it if you guys would grab that when it drops. Should be at midnight. You can grab it. And it's just a song I think that will be very, very helpful to a lot of people in this season, especially given what we've talked about. But yes, it's definitely a vocal. It's not a bass solo thing at all. It's a vocal. It's a full band arrangement. I am doing all the music on it, but I really, really hope that you guys will enjoy it when it drops. So yeah, somebody said, do I have Cash App? I do have a Cash App. My Cash App is $Jermaine Morgan Band. For any reason that you guys would want my Cash App, that's it. $Jermaine Morgan Band. If somebody want to put that in the chat, by all means, feel free. I'm not going to argue with you, but that's it. $, cash tag, however you want to say it, Jermaine Morgan Band. But yeah, so y'all already know what to do if you've been here a while. Go to the website, go find some stuff. Go search this channel, binge this channel, find some lessons. We are doing, if you were curious about my one-on-one lessons, you can find out. Yep, that's it. You can find out about my one-on-one lessons on the website as well. It's called Coaching Calls. Get coached by me. And I also offer once a month option coaching calls for people who want to do those as well, the one-on-one time. That's included in my monthly membership. I have 2 memberships that include the coaching calls. One is called the membership exclusive, the monthly members exclusive. And that includes 1 coaching call a month with me with the monthly membership lessons. The other option is the Members Plus exclusive. That includes the coaching call with me, and it includes access to all of my courses on my website, everything. So yeah, I encourage you to check out those options if you're interested in the one-on-one lessons. Many of you guys are some of my students that are on here already this morning, so you already know what it is. But for the ones of you who are interested in knowing more about that, again, you can find that on JermaineMorgan.net. And I really, 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 really appreciate you guys for hanging out. It really does mean a lot. Even if it's only a few people that hang around to the end of these videos, for you to give me your time, I really, really appreciate it. I don't want to overlook it, and I don't take it lightly. I don't take it for granted. I really appreciate it. And I hope this morning that I have added some value to you, gave you something to start your day off the right way, and gave you some motivation and some grooves and some encouragement to get you going to take on the rest of the week. So other than that, I will see you guys, and I'm gonna be seeing if I'm gonna post this if I'm gonna post this track or if I'm gonna put it on the record. Y'all just keep your fingers crossed to see what happens with that. All right. So what is a good 5-string fretless reasonable price? 5-string fretless, I'm probably the wrong person to ask about that right now, because I'm not I'm not the greatest fretless player. I'm working on it, but I'm not the greatest fretless player, and that's not my area of expertise. So yeah, I'm not sure. So I don't want to say anything wrong. If somebody else got some suggestions, I encourage you to drop them in the comments. Thomas Basis, thank you so much, man. Always inspirational, man. My pleasure. Glad to inspire. God bless you, sir. Miss Alana says deep bows to you. Thank you. I know I'm butchering that name, but thank you so much. Let me see here. I'm gonna play y'all out for a few minutes. stay there all day, but I got stuff to do, as I'm sure y'all do. Thank you guys rocking out with me. I'll read the last few of the comments before I jump off. Until next time, yes sir. Yes sir, Floppy, take care all. First thing I heard in the groove is what sounds like the chromatics that made the groove. Yes sir, thank you man, I appreciate that. Those are spirit fingers. That would be a great gospel song. Andre, there we go again. He said, I need the track. We'll see, man. We'll see. Thomas, awesome groove. Too bad it's clunky on my laptop speaker. Y'all gotta get some headphones, man. Gotta get you some headphones. That groove would have the church rocking absolutely all day. All right, y'all. Have a great day. I'm out. I've enjoyed it. I enjoyed talking to y'all. Peace. Blessings to you all.